There's been a pretty important update to Robopack, and it's coming along in the next week or so. And it's all to do with how we configure Robopatch flows. Since Robopack started, the flow creation screen has looked a little bit like this. And it's fine, right? It allows you to specify the flow name, and the patch group, and the platform, and the script template, whether to start deployment automatically, if you want to stop the deployment when a new version is added, or if you want to start a new one even though the last one's still not finished, or both. Whether you should leave the old superseded apps there forever and ever, it's a lot, right? It's a bit too much. And really, Robopack's defaults work just fine for most deployments. So that's what we've done. Soon, the flow creation screen will look a little more like this. And, well, let me go through this step by step. It's much more simple to start with. You get the flow name, the patch group, and the app version. Now, the name is free text. You can call it what you like. By default, we'll use that name in Intune, but if you want, you can change the actual app name that gets used in Intune by going into the flow options section. But for most people, it's the app name, doesn't matter. The app version is also free text. You can give it any version you like. Obviously, versions are quite important when it comes to a patch flow because we're literally talking about the thing that manages the versions of applications. So if you need to change this, you can. I think I'll probably dive into that a little more at another time. With a patch group, this might be where you want to set the patch group that you need to use to deploy this application. Because when I choose a patch group, suddenly we've got all of the waves already set up for us and we just need to click go. But if you want to leave it without a patch group, then choose create flow, and now you're deploying the application and configuring the waves to define which groups this application will go to first. Next, now not only have we hidden the flow options by putting them in a little banner called show flow options, we've also really simplified them. Let me show you. If I choose show options, we get to specify the things. So for example, the script template. Now I've got a default here of show welcome, but I can go back to the default if I like. This will be a list of script templates that you can choose from. We can then decide if we're running this flow automatically, or do we need to start the deployment before it goes to our test waves. You can see we've got start automatically or start manually. Pretty simple. Next, when a new version is released, what happens? Do we wait for the existing version to get to the final wave? That's the default. It usually works the best. It's probably the best idea. But if we need to, we could pause the current version, and that means it'll never get to the final wave, and just start a new one instead. Or if we need to, we can run this version alongside the existing one. That's the most risky, but in certain situations that might actually help, and it will certainly speed up the deployment. Finally, we can decide how many superseded versions we want to keep in Intune. By default, we set it to 3, but it can go anywhere from 0 up to 8. Now this is free choice, but it's a good idea to have some history and context about the success or failure of your app deployments. But like I say, it really is free choice. Just bear in mind that this is only keeping the superseded versions in Intune and not on devices. So a little clutter, or context, as I referred to it earlier on, is not necessarily a bad thing. Whatever you do, don't set it to 0. That may work, but it's not a good idea. At least have 1 or 2 superseded versions of applications in Intune just for your own context and history. That's it. It is simpler, and it's more clear what the end result will be of the choices that you make. What do you think of the new simplified screen? Let me know in the comments, or jump into the live stream that we run every second Wednesday. See you next time.